Good morning or afternoon, good day, all my Flosstube friends. This is Heather, the 20-Minute Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. Today is Sunday, November 20th, 2022, and this is Flosstube episode number 31. This is actually my second start recording this video. Y'all, I don't know, adulting and I have not been getting along lately. My brain is like, I don't know. Anyway, I started filming and realized I had left two of my patterns upstairs and two of my projects upstairs, and I was talking about something that I said was a new start and I had started it the week before. I'm a mess. Y'all, my brain has not been working lately. Anyway, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm so happy you've decided to spend some of your day with me. I hope that you will like what you see, that you will subscribe and come back for more content. I upload every 2 weeks. For those of you who have been here with me for a while, welcome back. You know I'm always so happy to have you part of my community. I love this Flosstube community. It's been such a blessing to my stitching life and journey. Like so many of you, I'm kind of the only person I know other than my mom. Or I guess not anymore, but at first I was kind of the only person I knew other than my mom who cross-stitched. And it's so great to be part of this larger community here on Flosstube. So I have a jam-packed video today. So despite not being able to adult and be on top of things in any other part of my life, I actually have gotten a fair amount of stitching done. I, for the first time in a long time, have a fully finished object to share with you. I also have two what I am calling AFFOs, almost fully finished objects, to share with you today, and progress on 4 whips, including one almost finish, which if you follow me on Instagram, I'm also the 20-Minute Stitcher over there. You might know what the almost finish is because I did share it over there. So let's just jump right in, all right? My first finish, or my only full finish, is this little guy right here. This is The Black Cat by Bent Creek. And I swear I about half the time forget to sign my stitching, and so I didn't sign this one. I'm pretty sure I finished this either very, very early this year or towards the end of 2021. But he's just so super cute, and he's just in a simple little frame from Michael's. They were having a big sale on their frames. I shared that in my last video, and so I picked up several frames. I think 5 frames for $20 or something. It was crazy. So yeah, so there's just this little guy. He was just stitched on some mystery linen I had him stashed. I will say a super loosey-goosey linen, which was nice to stitch on, but then when I was trying to mount him, so he's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. He doesn't have to be. So yeah, that's The Black Cat by Bent Creek, and I don't know where I'm going to put him. I might take him to my office. I might just have him upstairs. Haven't decided. So then my 2 almost fully finished objects. The first one is Fa La La, also by Bent Creek, that I finished this summer at StitchCon. And he is going to become a flat fold. So he is mounted on batting and on his little mat board for himself. And then I was going to finish him last night and realized that I didn't cut enough pieces of mat board. So I have to cut some more mat board before I can finish it. But I went shopping at Sherry's Fabric Boutique, also known as my mother's craft room, for the fabric. Some of you have seen, if you've been here for a little while, you've seen my mom stitching because she has gifted me some that I shared on my channel. She is also an incredibly gifted quilter and card maker. I mean, she's just got such an artistic, I love you, Mom. But anyway, so I went shopping, and this is what I picked out for the fabric for the flat fold. So this orange with the small little pumpkins in it is going to be sort of the border, and then this larger piece or larger pumpkin pattern is going to be the actual flat fold itself, the triangle. So once I get my additional mat board cut, I will finish this guy off. So he should be a fully finished object that I can share with you in my next video. My next almost fully finished object, I think it's a stretch to call it almost, but is Christmas Is by Lizzie Kate. So I have her all pressed and ready to be mounted. And if you'll recall, I have her little mat boards cut. If you'll recall, this is the one that I'm going to put in this shadow box frame that I got from Michael's. It's not super deep, but I did get these little trees. I'll probably put one of those in the corner, And then, I don't know, there's a hobby store near me that sells miniatures. So maybe I'll go there and see what they might have. I'm sure all their like Christmas village scene stuff is out. I might be able to find something there. So yeah, I haven't decided. I might get some greenery and kind of hot glue it in the top. I don't want to go over the top, but I think it'll be really pretty. And the fabric I picked out to use as the mat for the stitching is this fabric here. That is, I think it's really nice. So it's got some black in it that will draw out the black backing of the, like I think it'll be a nice transition, not draw it out, but it'd be a nice transition. And then the greens and the reds are all kind of in the same tones as the greens and the reds in the stitching. So I think it'll be really nice. So that also hopefully will be a fully finished object that I will be able to share with you in my next video. So those are my finished objects and almost finished objects. I have one finish that I'm also calling an almost finish. The stitching is all finished, or at least the stitching I'm going to do. The piece is October's by Hands On Design. And as you can see, her pattern calls for stitching these little acorn tops, or I call them acorn tops. I don't know what they are, but I'm guessing they're little acorn tops. And then finishing it with some fabric and some felt applique of the little nuts or whatever they are. And I decided not to do that, in part because the linen I stitched it on made it pretty large. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe over Thanksgiving weekend, is go to my LNS and search through her buttons. Anyway, so here is my finished piece. Oh, I can't see myself. All right, there we go. And for this one, I used the Cottage Garden Threads floss in the colorway Terracotta. That was part of the Cross Stitch the Rainbow stitch along, right? They were the specialty threads as part of the Autumn Garden threads, Autumn Garden sampler. But anyway, so I used Terracotta to stitch this. And you can see, obviously, here's where the little acorns are supposed to go. I think what I'm going to do, I'm toying with the idea of maybe putting in like an AGG or an AN or something to attribute the quote, or an LLLMM for Lucy Maud Montgomery. I haven't decided yet. I might stitch that in. But then I was going to get some buttons, like a pumpkin, maybe a big leaf or something to kind of fill that space there. Because I think I'm going to finish this. I haven't decided. My original thought was a flat fold, but it's quite big. I mean, it's over a foot long. Like that would be a really long flat fold. So I might still end up framing it, or I might make it into like a bolster pillow. I haven't decided. I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit. If you have thoughts or ideas of something that you think would be nice for this, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what might be a fun way to finish this. So this is my finish. Stitch super quickly, right? I feel like pieces with words always stitch quickly, generally. Always, generally, right? So that is my finish, October's by Hands On Design. All right, so in the last 2 weeks, I've worked on 3 other pieces that are still whips. I mentioned in my last video that, in part because referenced my aforementioned comment about being really bad at adulting lately. In October and September, I set project-specific stitching goals for myself that I just like crashed and burned on. Like didn't even come close on like any of them, because that has just been the story of my life lately. Like goal setting and I, goal achieving and I have not been friends. So in November, with as busy as the month is, with my son's birthday and the Thanksgiving holiday and getting ready for Christmas, and planning at work, annual planning and stuff at work, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to set any stitching goals for myself. But I still want to have kind of like an objective to be working toward, right? So I put all of my whips into a decision wheel using the Tiny Decisions app, and I am letting fate decide what my focus piece is for each week. So the first week in November was Haunted Library, and so I showed some of my progress on that in my last video. And I only stitched on it, it looks like 2 days after my last video, so my progress on it is not a whole lot, but this is where I am at right now in Haunted Library. So I believe before I had these 2 books done, I'm trying to think of what I had in my last video. I think since my last video, I've really just kind of filled in the landing behind Mr. Skelly there and have sort of extended over here a bit. And I'm kind of at this part in the railing on the landing there. So not a whole lot of progress to show, but I love this piece so much. But I think I'm probably not going to be working on it for a while again, just because of the way the decision wheel is working and the way my life is working. I don't have a whole lot of time to stitch right now. I never have a whole lot of time. That's why I'm called the 20-minute stitcher, right? Because it's all about you can still get stuff done in only 20 minutes a day, which is typically all I'm able to set aside for stitching. But it's probably going to be a little while, and I don't want my stitches to get crushed in my hoops. So I'm going to take them out. But yeah, I love this piece so much. I will put a picture of the finished, because the sal is done. I'll put a picture of the finished pattern up on the screen. Sorry, I'm like shaking my camera, so that you can see, if you haven't seen it yet, you can see what it looks like. The next spin of the wheel brought in All Things, which was my new start in my last video. And it came up again really quickly on my wheel. So it is this Lizzie Kate, it's out of this Lizzie Kate booklet. It's this pattern right here, In All Things, Give Thanks. And I started this, as I mentioned in my last video, because I just don't have much that's true fall, right? I've got my little llama guy that I need to finish, and that's really kind of it. And I guess now October's, which I finished. So last video I had kind of like half of the turkey body done, and that was about it. So I finished the turkey. I finished the whole inside of the block, and I have the border almost finished. And so that was, I stitched on this almost every day in the week that it was my focus piece. So that is that piece. And this is on a, what is this piece of fabric? I'm stitching it with the called for DMCs. So Lizzie Kate charted it with Weeks Dye Works, but then also provided the DMC and the anchor conversion. So I am using the DMCs. And this is on a 28 count hand-dyed Jobelin in the color Time. But my LNS did not put who the dyer is. So I don't know who dyed this. But it's a super soft fabric. I mean, it's a really nice fabric to stitch on. I've been able to use the sewing method on this most of the time because the fabric is so soft that it's really easy to just kind of slide that needle in and out. So that was my spin on Wednesday the 9th, was In All Things. So I worked on that pretty much every day until the 16th, which happened to be my son's birthday. And I spun the wheel again, and the pattern that came up that day was this one, Happy Fall Y'all from Sweet Wing Studios, which was part of this Autumn Garden palette, cross stitch the Rainbow Stitch Along. This was there was something like 24 or 26 designers who all designed a small using those 4 flosses. Excuse me. And I had started this one already, right? This was already a whip. So these are the 4 flosses that are part of this Autumn Garden palette. There's Terracotta, Spruce, Golden Gully, and Dandelion. I mean, they're just beautiful, beautiful colors, and the threads are so nice to work with. And I have made a lot of progress on this. Again, having sort of a small that can go anywhere with me to work on. I forgot to get my backing board down. That's okay. This is a tight weave fabric. I don't think I'll need it. So this is where I am at with this one. I got a ton done on this in the last week. So I think the last time I showed this to you, I had the word fall done, and I had like most of the H done. So everything else I've added in the last week. So much fun. If you purchased this when it very first came out at Expo this summer and you haven't started it yet, I will note that there was an error on the pattern. They just swapped the symbols for Spruce and Gully. So you'll want to fix that. So you can see I hand wrote in here, right? They had 8 being the symbol for Spruce and the little carrot the little greater than, less than sign, the symbol for Golden Gully, and it should be the other way around. So, and that's on Sweet Wing Studios website. She has the errata published there, but in case you don't go there, I wanted to let you know. My guess is you would probably figure it out just like I did, because spruce, right, is the greenery here. And when I went to, stitch, I'm like, wait, why is it calling, like, this is all green on the model photo. Like, why is it calling for Golden Gully? So anyway, so this is my progress on this. I love this pattern. I mean, look at the variegation in here. Like, oh my gosh, these flosses, I love them so much. I have like 5 other patterns that I bought as part of this stitch along. So I'm excited. I'm going to get to use these flosses a lot more because I just love them. I mean, and look at just look at the variegation, and it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. All right. So that is all of my stitching for this week. So I'll continue to work on Happy Fall until this Wednesday, the 23rd. And then I'll spin again, and we'll see what I'll be working on over Thanksgiving weekend. Now, this isn't meant to be like a monogamous only stitching. It just so happened that these last 2 spins were both smalls that are easy for me to travel with to like my daughter's fencing lessons and things of that sort. So they've been the only ones that I've been working on. I think when I get a spin that's for something larger with a lot more floss, then, like if Halloween Quaker comes up, right? I'll probably also still have a small that I'll work on, because Halloween Quaker is just a little difficult to travel with, right? It's on a 40 count. It's got tons of flosses. It's a digital pattern, so I have to bring my iPad with me as well. So this isn't meant to be a monogamous stitching sort of exercise for myself, but more of a focus piece stitching. And it just so happens that these last 2 weeks, they were smalls. And so I was like, well, great, I'll just throw them in my bag and take them with me wherever I go. So that is all of my stitching. In terms of plans for the coming weeks, I am going to continue with the decision wheel. Like I said, I'll spin again this Wednesday, and we'll see what fate brings me to work on over the Thanksgiving holiday here in the States. I am also, I caved and I purchased a ticket to the Jingle Ball. If you're on Instagram, I'm sure you've been seeing it around. There's 12 designers participating, and it's an online only stitching retreat on December 2nd and 3rd. So I'm kind of excited for that. The tickets were only $10, so I thought, why not? Like, they're going to be exclusive patterns. It'll be a nice opportunity for me to have just some focused, dedicated stitching time. I won't be able to attend the whole time, but being able to pop in and out. It sounds like fun. So we'll go from there. So maybe if some of you are going, let me know, and maybe we can find a stitching table to sit at together for a little while. There are supposedly going to be, I'm guessing, like breakout rooms or something like that. I'm not sure what platform they're using to do this. But it sounds like it's going to be tons of fun. It's all put together. It's all the mastermind of Lindy Stitches. And yeah, it should be a good time. So I've got that coming up in a few weeks, although I'll film another video between now and then. And I guess that's it in terms of my stitching. I do have some books that I'll share. I asked that in my, I guess, 2 videos ago, and you all said that you would be interested in hearing about what I'm reading. So I'm going to kind of take a little page out of Elizabeth's Frizzy Lizzie Stitches book, no pun intended, sorry, and share what I just finished reading, what I'm reading now. Lizzie often shares what she's going to read next, but I haven't decided what I'm going to read next. So I just have the first 2. So the book I just finished is On Rotation by Shirlene Obuobi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And as I'm sure you can tell from the cover art, it is, this is a rom-com about a medical student named Angela. And it was fun. So like, I just needed something light. Again, my aforementioned inability to adult lately. I just wanted something fun and light to read. Like so many rom-coms, right? It was predictable in many ways, right? Girl has boyfriend, boyfriend's a tool, boyfriend dumps her, she's sad. I should say this, the kind of twist on this is she's a Ghanaian American first generation, actually not even first generation. She was born in Ghana, immigrated with her parents when she was about 7 or 8. So, part of the backdrop of the story is the expectations of her immigrant parents, and both in terms of her profession, but also in terms of her love life, emotional life, right? What kind of boy she'll bring home, things of that sort. So there's sort of that layer on top. And of course, boy she meets after boyfriend dumps her does not fit that mold at all. And beyond that, it sort of is the typical what you expect of a rom-com, right? They meet, there's an instant connection. She finds out he has a girlfriend. He's just a really nice guy. And then she is working to get over him, and then ends up bumping into him at a concert. And it turns out his girlfriend is besties with one of her really good friends. And so it's all this, right? And then they're together and then they're not. And what's happening, and are they not? And then there's a family emergency in his family that, as a medical student, she tries to help with. And then, of course, they happily ever after, right? So not to spoil it for you, but it is a rom-com, right? That's what happens. But it was a quick read. It was funny. I really liked the humor in it. Even though it was predictable in many ways, it wasn't it was still enjoyable, right? This is the formula of rom-coms, right? If you read, more than 3 or 4 in your life, you can figure out the formula and you kind of know what's coming. But the layers of the immigrant family, his family is also an immigrant family from Mexico. And I don't know, it was enjoyable. So if you like rom-coms, if you want something kind of light and funny, this is the only rom-com I've ever read with footnotes, which I think was kind of funny as well. And most of the footnotes were kind of funny side comments. If you like anime, there are anime references in here as well. You'll appreciate that. So that was on rotation. I did enjoy that book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. The book I am reading now is A Mirror Mended by Alix Harrow. So I am infamous at my library for getting sucked in by what I call their aisle of shame up by checkout, which is all their new books, right? And I also am notorious for checking books out, maxing out my renewals, and then still not being done reading them, because I'm like a squirrel. That's why I have the mug. I check out books, and then I get distracted by other books, and then anyway, so this is due back to the library. I am probably going to get the letter in the next week or so saying they've charged me for it because I haven't returned it. I'm a very bad library patron, but I will return it, and they will wipe the charge off my account. But anyway, so this is A Mirror Mended, which I didn't realize when I picked it up. This is actually book 2 in a series. But what attracted my attention to it, if you've not heard of it before, is it's a retelling of Grimm's fairy tales in sort of a feminist way, where and I'm only 22 pages into it. So I haven't fully figured out what the premise is. But again, she's the main character is basically a sleeping beauty in her own dimension. And her job is saving sleeping beauties in other dimensions, is what I've sort of figured out so far. But she's kind of snarky, which I find hilarious. And it's good so far. I mean, I am, after I go snowplow my driveway after this video, I will probably sit down and read this some more today because I want to keep reading it and figure out what's going on. It's a very slim book, so it should be a very fast read. Yeah, it's only 130 pages. So, I mean, some of you could probably sit and read this in a day. I could probably, if I focus on it, could probably finish it in a week with the time that I have. But yeah, so that is A Mirror Mended by Alix Harrow. That is all I have for you today, my stitchy and reading friends. Life update, not much to report, just plugging along. Taxi for my kids, working hard. And yeah, I am, as I mentioned before, I have felt very disorganized lately. Just very tired, I don't know, just disorganized, right? Just kind of off kilter. I'm not on top of things the way I usually am. I think part of it is I'm spread too thin, and trying to kind of offload some things. Also just adjusting, right? I mean, I've been a single mom for a while now, but my kids are getting older, they're doing more things. And so just adjusting to how life shifts and changes as we go through different stages of our lives. So one of my goals over the Thanksgiving weekend is to kind of get myself reorganized, right? Kind of sit and make a list. I've been using one type of planner for a while that I really like in terms of how it's pre-printed and laid out. I had bullet journaled for a long time and had switched over to this planner because I just wanted something that was pre-printed. And I really like it, but it's too big. Like I can't toss it in my purse and carry it around with me. And so I find that I'm not referencing it as much as I should be in order to kind of really stay on top of things. So I actually just checked out from the library, so I guess I could share what I'm going to read next. The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll, who's the creator of the bullet journal. And Frizzy Lizzie Stitches is reading it now and has commented that she has found it very helpful to kind of get a better understanding of her own bullet journaling, which kind of prompted me to check it out and read it myself and see if maybe that can kind of reinvigorate me because I felt like I was more on top of things when I was bullet journaling, but like I got bored with my bullet journal because like it became kind of a to-do list rather than anything else. So I don't think I was really using it to its optimum potential. Anyway, I'm kind of just rambling now, but that's kind of what I have kind of going on. I really am hoping to kind of get my life back in order and reorganized and back on top of things. But yeah. How about you guys? Do anything? So here in the States, it's Thanksgiving week. So my daughter only has school Monday and Tuesday this week. My son has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we are doing a staycation for Thanksgiving. We'll have Thanksgiving dinner with my parents, but otherwise we are making zero plans. I think all three of us, both me and my son and my daughter, just need more than a day that we can just veg and do nothing. So that is my plan. I am staycation. We are not available unless we decide we want to do something. Otherwise, we're just going to hole up in the house and hang out with each other and relax. So for those of you here in the States, I hope all of you have a wonderful, safe, fun-filled, love-filled Thanksgiving. For my viewers in other parts of the world, I hope that you have a wonderful week, or 2 weeks, I guess. I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care. Hug your loved ones. Take care of yourselves. Happy stitching. I'll see you soon. Bye.